when you now see that phrase from politician, go to the court, that itself again brings some question mark around the judiciary, because the judiciary is supposed to be the hope of the
common man.
But unfortunately, because politician knows that traditionally the responsibility to prove that the election was rigged falls with you that has come to the court, that have approached the court. And it's always very cumbersome because of the issue of access to information. But you see, politicians, they are all the same. Not all, but at least majority of them are the same. How do you get reform carried out? How do you get things done properly? It is from lesson you learn from your mistakes. Do you know that right from the time of Obaseki becoming a governor of Edo State, there are politicians that were aggrieved who felt that he didn't win that election or he won that election. But those politicians, in a nice climb, what do? That's why you see civil society partner with opposition party to campaign for a policy that will strengthen the institution. But politicians feel that when they win, the need for a civil society, the need for a strong institution, it doesn't matter. But you don't know. Today you win, tomorrow you will not win. Because the variables for winning election in Nigeria are sometimes distant and remote. And sometimes you don't control the two. Sometimes you control the two. And the most important one, sometimes when you become a victim, you will not have allies to push for a reform. And that's why we are appealing to politicians that even if you win today, open rooms for reform. Okay. And what are those reforms? Why is it very difficult to go to court to prove a case of malpractice in election? It's issue of access to information. Access to information. When you ask governors, for example, we have been calling for access to information law in Edo State. It has not been passed into law. I don't think my friend Obaseki will want it to be passed into law. But today, as they are now victim of malpractice, so-called malpractice, I think he would like to see freedom of information law be put in proper practice at even in the federal level. So you can see that today you can win, tomorrow you will not win. And that's why I'm appealing to those who have also lost this election now. This is an opportunity for them to join force with civil society to put in place the right institutions. When you put in place the right institution, it will protect you in the long run. You can be a governor today, you cannot be a governor tomorrow. In the less than 2 or 3 months now, Obaseki will not be the governor of Edo State. And I'm sure that he would want to see a system where citizens can have access to information. But when he was there, did he put in those things in place? Was there freedom of information law in place? Were there implementation of open government partnership in place? All these we have been campaigning for the past 8 years. This government refused to allow those institutions to work. Freedom of information law is not working in Edo State. Open government partnership is not working in Edo State. So it becomes pretty difficult for citizens to have access to information because it was convenient for them. And today they are crying. And that's why my appeal to PDP is that let's join forces together. Let's work with this current government that is coming. Because today you might win, tomorrow you might not win. But if the institutions are right, like I made an example recently, that in a climate like the United States, where some level of institutions are working, it doesn't matter whether you are in opposition. And that's why Elon Musk, the owner of Twitter, now X, is a major contractor in the US government. But he's campaigning against the Democrat. And the Democrats are currently running the US government. But in Nigeria here, can you oppose Obaseki and be a major contractor in Edo State? Even if you look, all those who are contractors in government, 98% of them are friends of the governor. You cannot be, when I say friends.
How do you substantiate this?
Oh my God.
No, you should be able to substantiate this.
When I say substantiate, when I say this, it's not just Edo State.
Yeah.
It's across Nigeria. You can never oppose government and find a foot in government. Look at Dangote, for example. Where is Dangote crying today? Because in America, the private sector comes together to support civil society. That's why you have Ford Foundation, you have MacArthur Foundation. They provide resources for civil society to campaign so that when they are a good institution, it protects everybody. Don't you see that Dangote is also crying now? Because the institutions are weak. If the institutions are right, why will NNPC, that government said in the Petroleum Industry Act, is a commercial entity now, be the regulator? It's in a climb when there is no sense of direction. But the private sector people, they don't know that you must invest to support credible civil society so that when they campaign, when we put the right institutions in place, for instance, if you feel aggrieved in an election, you need evidence. You are a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. You need evidence to go and prove your case in the law court. But in a climb where access to information is pretty difficult, because that's what we are saying. And there's no better time for us to remind politicians that today you win. And that brings me to the question that our governor-elect, please, there's no doubt, you have to thank those who work with you. You have to thank your party members. You have to thank all those who have campaigned with you. But be reminded that you have a responsibility to carry out.
Okay.